What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Our next guest is an actress, entrepreneur, and the ultimate fangirl. Best known for her work as Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, she's also the founder and creator of Her Universe, a groundbreaking fashion brand and community for fellow fangirls. But did you know that her first job was as a Walt Disney World cast member at Disney Hollywood Studios? It was. Her story and her journey is one of persistence and dreams, and in her latest book, It's Your Universe, she shares her own life lessons as well as lessons from iconic Disney characters as a roadmap to kind of show you how you too can dream it and do it. It's awesome. I got a chance to read it. I'm very excited because here to tell us all about this fantastic book and what's up in her universe, ladies and gentlemen, the great Ashley Eckstein is here. How about that? That's pretty awesome, right? It's pretty cool. Tons of exciting stuff to talk about. But before we bring her out, we've got a really cool video. We're going to take a look at that. So, Luke, let's go ahead and run that clip.
Welcome to the stage, Her Universe founder, Ashley Eckstein.
Hey there, I'm Ashley Eckstein, voice of Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and also founder of Her Universe.
I am no Jedi.
From my dream of being a Disney cast member to being an actress on the Disney Channel, to being the voice of a Star Wars character, and then to creating Her Universe, I would not have believed that I could do any of that without being taught to wish upon a star, and that if you can dream it, you can do it. To announce that I have been given the incredible honor to write a book for Disney that will be released in May of 2018. It's called It's Your Universe. Dream your world. Be your world. Fly your
world. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Ashley Eckstein is right here. She's right here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and carving out some time and your schedule to come hang out with us and talk about this wonderful book. I'm very excited to talk to you about it. Congratulations on this.
Thank you.
So amazing.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Literally, this is the first day I can really talk about it.
Really?
Yes. So forgive me as I geek out completely.
I would expect nothing less. All right. So yeah, we've got a lot. We're going to talk about this book. I'm going to tease a little bit of very exciting announcement that we're going to get to in a little bit that may or may not be on a table next to you. And just in general, so much to discuss. But the very first thing I like to ask, because we have some time here on Build, is how are you? How is Ashley?
I am great. I literally feel like I am living my dream. If I could go back and tell my 10-year-old self that I would be here today in New York City talking about a book I wrote, dressed as like a Disney princess.
You look amazing right now.
Thank you. As the voice of a Star Wars character, literally, you would hear my scream all the way from Orlando, Florida. So, yeah, I'm doing amazing. Thank you.
So great. How old were you when you were a cast member at Hollywood Studios? How far back does that go?
I was 16.
16, so it was like your first job, right? Like,
yes, very first job. Actually, they were having tryouts to be a performer for Disney on my 16th birthday. birthday.
Oh, man.
And that's all I wanted for my 16th birthday. I didn't want, a car. I didn't want, everyone wants to get their license and drive. But what I really wanted was to be a Disney cast member. And I felt like Disney was like giving me such a gift. I'm like, I can go get a job on my birthday.
Welcome to the world. Your gift at 16 is employment.
Yes.
You're an adult now. But that's just so crazy to think about that. You were in the park, you were a part of it, and now you're contributing to so much of that culture, so many things that are featured in the park, things that are sold in the park, things that kids see in the park and go, I want to do that. Like, you're making that now. It's pretty incredible. Like, you dreamed it and you did it, just like it says on the book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about it in the book because actually it started with my parents. My parents went to Orlando, Florida on their honeymoon, and they actually made a wish. They made a wish that my dad would get a job for Disney and that they would be able to raise a family in Orlando and kind of raise us Disney. And that's exactly what happened. Like 2 years later, he literally got a job as a meat and seafood buyer for Disney. So those turkey legs, my kind of claim to fame, really, as I call myself Princess Turkey Leg, because my dad he was part of the team that did the original deal to bring the turkey legs into the park.
Wow.
And so I have no royal title
Does he
except...
know the churro guy, too? Does he have like an in? Does he?
He did. He worked with the team that brought in the churros, and I love churros so much. Yeah. Those are my favorite park food.
So good.
I actually had them at my wedding because I had a Disney wedding, and I brought a churro cart into the reception.
Well, if you're going to have how could you not? You
yeah.
Okay, I could talk about that stuff forever. Like I said in the back, I'm a huge parks nerd. My wife and I are obsessed. But let's talk about this book because there are a lot of things I love about it, especially the way in which, as we just heard in that story, Disney, a big part of your life, a big influence when you were younger. And you very much see that reflected here as there's parallel lessons that you've learned from Disney characters, from Disney stories. The beginning of the idea of this book, was that always the idea from the beginning? I'm going to not just tell my story, but I'm going to show how it parallels these lessons I learned from these Disney characters and stories over the time. Was that it from day one?
That was it from day one, but it wasn't my goal, I guess I should say. So what happened was my character, I do the voice of a Star Wars character, Ahsoka Tano, and I was helping promote the Ahsoka book. And from there, we had a lot of fun. We had a successful book tour. I did the audiobook for that. I didn't write it. I just did the audiobook. And so I was talking with the Disney book group, and we said, hey, we had so much fun together, and there's something more to do for fangirls. Like, let's do something else. And we were just brainstorming. And they said, well, what about your story? Would you write like a memoir or an autobiography? And I was like, I don't feel I've lived enough of a life or done enough to write a memoir. I said, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be sitting and talking to you if it weren't for Disney. Disney influenced and inspired me to make my dreams come true. So I would tell my story, but more as if it was an advice book on here's what I did, here's how I did it, and here's how you can do it too. So kind of a roadmap on how to dream it and do it.
And that's what's fun too, is that it is all of these different things. It's a roadmap. It's kind of a biography. It is a biography, and it has these Disney bits. But then you've got these sections where people can sort of write down and journal and put it to work and put it to use and actually do it. I'm very curious about the process in that, did you write out the story you wanted to tell about you and then find places the Disney stuff would fit? How did you pair up those moments and lay it out the way you did?
Well, it's funny. So writing a book is one thing I said I would never, ever do. I literally didn't think I had it in me. And the most I ever wrote was an essay. And, so I set out to write a book, and I'd end up with a nice essay, and that was it. And so when I was talking with Disney, I was like, look, I'd love to do this book, but I don't think I can write it. And they said, no, don't worry. We'll get you an author, and you can share your stories, and she'll write it, but we'll make sure it's in your voice. And so I was like, well, okay. And so that's Stacey Kravitz, a very accomplished writer, wonderful writer, writes a lot of, empowering books for girls. And so I met with Stacey for like 2 months, and she gave me an outline, and I realized that's what I couldn't get past. That was my brick wall. And so she heard me talk for 2 months, and she's like, okay, here's what you're trying to say. She's like, and she broke down my conversations, and she said, broken down how to make your dreams come true into steps. And she's like, here's what you're saying. It starts with a dream, then a wish, then you believe, then you do, then you transform, and then you trust. And so she gave me the first manuscript, and it was there, but I realized, I'm like, this isn't in my voice. And it's very important to me. Like on social media, if you talk to Her Universe, you're talking to me. Like I'm always very personal. And so I was like, wow, okay, if I want this to be my voice, I've got to write this book. So thanks to Stacy, who gave me the outline, I literally locked myself away in my apartment for 5 days. I got a bunch of Oreos, and no, this is not an ad. I literally just got a lot of Oreos, and I wrote for 5 days straight. And then of course I had notes, but within 3 weeks, the book was written.
It's pretty amazing. And specifically the Disney elements, did you have a checklist of okay, I have to make sure, because this particular song was really big for me, I've got to make sure that's in there. And were there certain characters or things you wanted to fit in but ran out of space, things like that? Really weaving the Disney into it. How did that work out?
Absolutely. Well, and that was one of my favorite parts about the book, because that is truly authentic to me. I joke that if they tested my DNA, there would be a Disney strand in my DNA. But, I have so many stories how Cinderella inspired me to dream, how Ariel, taught me to find my voice. And so it was important to me to be able to weave those elements in. And so the first draft I did, there was, I had all the examples of how the Disney princesses inspired me, how Star Wars inspired me. And I got this amazing note, actually, from, I had an awesome editor, several actual editors at Disney, and they said, Ashley, there's not enough Disney. We want to hear more, which for me, to play with the Disney playground, is such a gift. And I was like, do you mean I can share more stories? And because I was trying to be respectful of it, I didn't want to gush too much, and I didn't know how much I could say. And she goes, no, she's like, the Disney universe is your universe to play with this book. And so literally I had the best time. I went back and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, there's all these characters to play with and write about, and that's what I did. But it's all authentic to me, and the characters that inspired me. So I literally had a blast writing this book.
Yeah, I think that comes through. You can tell there was a lot of fun had making it, especially because of the incredible artwork that's in there. I was super stoked I got to meet the artist backstage. Ashley Taylor is here. How did you guys get paired up? How did that kind of come together? Had you known each other before? Was it a perfect fit? You were like, oh, I know who to get, or did you meet her through this? Tell me all that.
It's so funny. We were actually set up. It was.
Perfect match.
We had a couple friends, actually. We had 2 friends in particular that came up to me at 2 different times and said, I have a friend named Ashley that you need to meet. And they said, you don't understand. You guys are you're the blonde version of her, because she's brunette and I'm blonde. And they're like, you guys are the same person, just different hair colors, same name, everything. They're like, you have to be friends. Yeah. And it actually took about 2 years before we actually met in person. And I was working with Ashley over the phone on designs a little bit, because we did finally connect. And then she did some amazing designs for us for Her Universe. And then we met for tea one day, and it turned into a 6-hour tea party where we just hit it off, and we're like, okay, yeah, we're meant to be best friends. And so when they said I could have an illustrator, I said, it has to be Ashley Taylor. She literally if I'm the Lizzie McGuire, she's the illustrator in my head. Because you know how Lizzie has those cartoon moments? Yeah, Ashley illustrates, yeah.
No, they're fantastic, and it's a perfect marriage between the two. The other thing I loved about your story in particular is just kind of how everything, it's a perfect example of everything happening kind of for a reason, right? If you didn't get the voice gig on Star Wars, then maybe you would have gone to conventions, but not nearly as much, or been as on the lookout for the apparel and for the stuff that you were trying to find. You wouldn't have recognized the hole in the market. You wouldn't have started Her Universe, and you wouldn't have this amazing community and brand that you built. How are things going at Her Universe? It's 8 years since you guys started, right? Is it? Or,
yes.
Yeah, about 8 years.
It'll be 8 years on June 22nd. And it's amazing. I founded Her Universe in 2010. I didn't know what I was doing. I just saw a need. I saw a need that fangirls needed to be recognized, needed to be celebrated, and needed a safe place where they could step into the spotlight and say, hi, I'm Ashley, I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'm a girl, and not be bullied for it or made fun of for it. And so I just kind of figured it out as I went, and obviously I talk a lot about that in the book. And was very, honestly, very, very lucky, very blessed to grow the business and work with partners such as Disney and then Hot Topic. In many ways, Her Universe would not be what it is today without Hot Topic. We kind of built the geek fashion or kind of what geek fashion is together. We did the first geek dress together, first geek fashion collection together. And so 2 years ago, I actually got a call. I was driving on the freeway in California, which is a dangerous place to be to begin with. And I got a call she's actually amazing. She's employee number 1 of Hot Topic, and she's still there. Almost 30 years later, her name is Cindy Levitt, very respected, very renowned executive. And she called me and she was like, Ashley, so casually, she's like, we love Her Universe and we'd love to work more with you, but we feel that we can do more together than apart. So would you consider if Hot Topic bought Her Universe and, you would still come and run it? And I literally almost drove off the freeway.
Big proposition. I mean, it's huge. It's
Yeah.
a huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And it wasn't something I was expecting. But when I thought about it, it made perfect sense. And it was like fate. I mean, I do believe everything happens for a reason. And because there was so much opportunity and we were such a small company, I wasn't able to take advantage of it and take hold of it. So I was very lucky to join the Hot Topic Inc. or the Hot Topic umbrella of brands, because there's several brands underneath the umbrella. And so we're part of the Hot Topic family now, and they've opened up so many new opportunities for Her Universe. It's really been a dream come true.
Well, it's one of the things I was really excited to ask you, because you guys have done so much in just the 8 years, is like, what's coming next? What are you really excited about? And I didn't know this was happening today, but I think it's time we talk about it and kind of pull the curtain back here. This is a huge deal, and I believe, are we the first people you've told about this big announcement?
Yes, you're the very first. Literally,
This is
you
an
guys
exclusive.
here. You have an exclusive.
Internet. Yes, we should
Internet.
applaud.
Yes.
Let's applaud for the exclusive. This is super cool. I got a chance. Excuse me. I got a chance to look at some of this stuff. Walk us through. Make the announcement. Tell the world what's going on.
Okay, I'm so excited to share that Her Universe is now doing beauty for Star Wars. We're doing Star Wars makeup and beauty products.
That's amazing. Let's go ahead and make some noise. Star Wars beauty products here.
Thank you.
First of all, they look so awesome. Are you going to walk us through some of these things? I could already see little lightsabers from over here.
I have to tell you. So, when I first launched Her Universe, I made the mistake of coming out and sharing all my ideas with the world. And I was like, I have this dream to make lightsaber lip gloss. And then I realized I had no way to make it happen. So 8 years later, I am thrilled to finally be making not only lightsaber lip gloss. So, okay.
All right, let's start with this.
These are lightsabers, but they're tubes of lip gloss.
So cool.
So the hilt unscrews, and that's like the actual applicator for lip gloss. It comes in 3 colors: Dagobah Dusk, Dark Side, and Tatooine.
Love it.
Really cute. And then lightsaber makeup brushes.
It's so fun. You guys must have had a blast designing these things and coming up with these different ideas and putting them together. I love the little detail, too, of the color on the brush.
Yes. And actually, I just realized I held it up to the wrong camera. So here's the
Let's see.
lightsaber lip
Right
gloss. There we go. And then,
perfect.
okay, so those are 2 of my favorite items because I've literally been dreaming them in my head for years.
Is that a crazy thing when you have a vision in your head for so long and then you finally see it realized? Now there it is. It's in a box. It's a thing. People are gonna buy it. How does that feel? What is that like?
It's crazy. And it's a feeling that never gets old. Never gets old. Like when I see someone on the street now, like wearing Her Universe, or, if they, I see them using the makeup, I literally geek out so much. And I think my mom like made them buy it and like told them to buy it. Like I don't believe that like people are buying it.
Your mom's out there doing marketing, making people buy your stuff.
Yeah, literally. She's watching now and she does. She tells people all about it. This one I'm super excited about. I mean, who doesn't need an eyeshadow and highlighter palette in the shape of a Millennium Falcon?
It's so cool.
Like,
And very timely, well, with the upcoming release of Solo, we've got a little Millennium Falcon right here.
we might have had that in mind when we
Yeah,
designed
all
it.
right, so that wasn't
but,
an accident. Fair enough.
Okay, so let's see.
$1 billion business,
Let me
probably a
open it
couple
up
of calculations
here.
there.
So
It's got the light.
it has, let's see, a mirror that says, "The Force is strong with you." So an empowering phrase. You can create a light side or a dark side look.
I love it.
It has a highlighter in the middle with the Rebel Alliance symbol, and then all of the colors have names. So like Hyperspeed, Stormtrooper, Rebellion, all the colors there.
It's so fun.
So, okay.
Especially because, like, that sort of stuff, it's crazy to think that here we are in 2018 and these are finally, like, being realized and happening. But it's true, the whole reason this brand exists is because not that long ago, you couldn't find anything like this.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
You literally
It's
couldn't.
crazy.
And in the past, like, you might have been able to find, like, a tube of lip gloss and with the Star Wars logo on it. But I wanted to take it next level. I wanted to do lightsaber, shaped brushes and Millennium Falcon eyeshadow palettes. Yeah. And, of course,
I've been
guys
eyeballing
are
this
not
thing.
to be left out. But we just launched Our Universe, which is our fashion line for guys and men, and it's also unisex. So we didn't want to leave the guys out. So we have Our Universe Wookiee grooming kit, complete with, let's see, Wookiee hair pomade and Chewbacca beard oil.
My God, that is incredible.
So we have a body cleanser, a fragrance, and here, we can...
Yeah, I want to open this up. I want to...
Here, open this up.
Let's see, I'm gonna open this up real quick. Take a look.
And
right
then
here.
while
This-
you're
this
opening it up,
attached?
I'll also share. We have
see.
2 bath bombs. We have a set of 2
was wondering what
droid
those
bath
were.
bombs. So
How do those work? What do we got here?
you literally just
Drop
drop
them in
them in your bathtub, and I don't know if automatically you'll be able to speak several languages like Chewbacca or I don't know, or you.
Somebody must have gave your team the heads up that I was going to steal all this stuff because they've sealed it with a little plastic clip. I
Oh,
can't open it. They were like, watch out for Matt. He's going to take all of the stuff inside of that bag. Yeah, Chewbacca, Wookiee beard oil. I was all over it. I was ready. All right. Well, I'm going to hold on to this for safekeeping. How about
Okay,
that? We'll do that
okay.
instead. I'll just keep the whole bag.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. Are these things, are they all available right now? Are they
yes.
coming? What's the story here?
So these launch tomorrow at Hot Topic.
Oh, no way.
I'm so excited. I actually worked very closely with the beauty buyer. Her name is Mandy B at Hot Topic. I have to give her a shout out because really she took what was in my head and she brought it to life. And because I'm not an artist, so you don't want to see my fashion sketches. They look like stick figures. So I literally explained to her what I wanted and she just brought it to life. So shout out to Mandy. These are available at Hot Topic starting tomorrow in Hot Topic stores. I'm so excited.
You've answered my next question. Tomorrow being a very important day within the Star Wars community, I was wondering what your big plans were. Well, there they are. This is it. We're celebrating the launch. May the 4th be with you. This is how you do it. This is fantastic.
we're
What else are
doing
you doing?
all
Yeah.
sorts of things. So we're actually doing our very first book signing at the Disney store in Times Square. So
that's huge.
we're actually launching an activewear line for the entire family. It's a Star Wars activewear line. So mom, dad, son, daughter. We actually have a beautiful family here in the audience, and so we have a Star Wars activewear line for the whole family that's launching in all Disney stores nationwide tomorrow. So we're doing our first book signing in the Disney store. And then one cool thing that I have to talk about that Lucasfilm is doing, and this is why I love being a part of the Star Wars family, they're doing something called Roar for Change. So Star Wars has Force for Change, which, they do so much good. They team up with UNICEF, actually, for this program. And so I'm going to put you on the spot here, Matt.
Do it.
Because for every post where you do your best Wookiee roar, and then you post it or like it or share it with the hashtag Roar for Change, up to $1 million, they will donate money to UNICEF USA's life-saving work for kids. But you have to do a Wookiee roar. Now, I did one online that's actually going up tomorrow that is so embarrassing.
I tell you right now, I'm going to give you my best shot. Everyone in here is going to be very sad. It's just going to be a terrible Wookiee roar.
How about
But
I do
gonna
mine first?
You want to do yours first?
Yeah,
All right,
I go.
let's see what you got.
Roar!
That's not bad. That's not bad. See, mine, it almost sounds. It's like it's in the throat. You gotta get a gargle. Yeah, see, and I can't. No, it's very upsetting. It's not a good sound. But I will practice it, and I will post another one.
Okay.
But I don't have it in me.
What's not upsetting, though, is just by you doing it, you're
Okay.
donating $1 to
That's all I gotta do?
UNICEF USA's work
I'll do it all day then.
for kids. Yeah. Make sure to use
$2 right there.
$2.
3. I'll keep going.
Yep. Hashtag roar for change
Everyone's saying
and keep
stop.
donating.
This is so exciting. We're going to turn it over to audience in just a second, but I want to really quickly just highlight something. You mentioned it very briefly in the book, and I think you should be commended for this. It's not just realizing your dream, but in the beginning, when you had this idea, there were people that said to you, girls don't want that. Wait, no, we didn't do it. We tried. It didn't work. Girls don't care about Star Wars. And they were wrong then, and they could not have been more wrong, and you knew that, and you saw that. And because of your persistence, because of your dream, we have these crazy cool things that literally 8 years ago, 10 years ago, if there was a girl out there that wanted a makeup brush that looked like a lightsaber, she couldn't get it. And you made it happen. And I think it's a really cool thing, and we shouldn't lose sight of that. Because it is fun and silly, but it's also really important that everybody can enjoy the thing that they love to enjoy. And you're a big part of making that happen. So if we could just applaud quickly.
Oh, goodness.
Because it's a big deal, honestly.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I would literally I'd be remiss to not mention Ahsoka Tano. None of this would be possible without Ahsoka Tano. And I'm the voice of her, but she is one of the coolest female Star Wars characters out there. Actually, there's a new series on YouTube called Forces of Destiny, and they're shorts. And new ones launch tomorrow, and there is a new Ahsoka episode that launches tomorrow. But I thought to myself, when I saw that there was a need, I didn't know how to do it, and everyone, you're right, was telling me no, but I thought, what would Ahsoka do? And Ahsoka would have figured it out and started a company, so that's why I did it. So thanks to Ahsoka. Awesome. Well, thanks to Ahsoka, thanks to you. And let's turn it over to our audience. Get some questions in. We've got a couple of mics. First one, I'm going to put you on the spot. Let me get one of them Wookiee roars.
Oh, no, definitely not.
If you don't, there, I did one for you. That's $5. I'm up to 5.
So as a girl who grew up loving Star Wars and definitely not having products and stuff like this, I really appreciate it. I think it's so cool. So I'm wondering, besides the character that you play, what is another character in the Star Wars universe that you would love to voice or play, in live action?
Oh, goodness. Well, I get this question all the time, so I'll ask it. People ask me all the time if Ahsoka was in live action, would I love to play her? And of course I would love to play Ahsoka in live action. I mean, that would be a dream come true if it ever happens. But I have to say that it's such an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. I mean, I watch Rey and now Rose and, characters in Rebels, Sabine and Hera, and there's so many awesome female characters that I'm so excited for the younger generation of female fans today, because I grew up in a time where, I loved Princess Leia and I loved Padme, but that was really it. And there was no girl with a lightsaber to play with on the playground because, Leia had a blaster, Padme was a senator, but no girl had a lightsaber. So I can't say I'd want to play anyone else aside from Ahsoka, but it's just an exciting time to be a female Star Wars fan.
For sure. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
We've got a few more. We got one more I'm hearing. It's coming from, I know what this means.
Hi, we have a question from an online viewer.
Sure.
Dumo would like to know, what is one scene from Star Wars Clone Wars that you would have loved to see in live action?
Ooh. That I would love to see in live action. Well, let's see. They're stumping me. Okay, there was an arc. I'm going to get really kind of geeky here. There's an arc called the Mortis trilogy, where Ahsoka, they went to this place called Mortis, and it was where the Force happens. It's like a balance in the Force, and it's actually a son, a daughter, and a dad, and they're the balance of the Force. So sorry, I digress. But Ahsoka went there, and she had this amazing fight scene. She went to the dark side. We saw older Ahsoka. We saw so many versions of her, and so I would love to do that in live action because you get to do a little bit of everything.
That's perfect. And I love when you can get into the mythology and all right, we're on this place with these people and it means this thing. I love those digressions. That's the fun of knowing all those different things. All right, we're out of time. I've got to let you go, but before I do, I will remind everybody that tomorrow, you can get this with this and many others. We got the bath bombs. We've got the Millennium Falcon palette.
Yes.
Is that the word for that? I'm a guy. I don't know what the word for that is. What is it?
Palette.
That's
That
a palette.
is correct,
Nailed
Matt.
it. You get
Great
the palette.
job.
With the brushes. What else?
The only thing I will say, the lip gloss is coming soon. It's coming
soon.
like literally
Okay.
in like a week.
Okay.
So never fear if you don't see it. It's coming soon. But yes,
Keep an
you
eye
can
out
get
for
it
that, and that's going to be
tomorrow.
available tomorrow. The book, I want to say the 8th?
It launches May 8th.
May 8th
So
is the book. Is there an
anywhere.
audiobook?
Yes, and I did the audiobook as well.
you did.
So anywhere where books are sold.
Anywhere books are sold, you get that. You get the audiobook. And if you're watching this tomorrow, may the 4th be with you, my friend, all right? One more time, everybody put your hands together. Make some noise for Ashley Eckstein
Thank you.
and all her amazing stuff. Thank you.